A 15-year-old girl was discovered dead in a woodland close to her home in Valkeakauski in Pirkanmaa early on Saturday, May 25, 2024. She left the house on Friday night and did not come back, so her friends called the police during the night and discovered her body in the neighboring woods. An 18-year-old male was taken into custody by the police on suspicion of manslaughter and serious victim rape. The young man's criminal history is multifaceted. The defendant was given a 1-year and 6-month suspended prison sentence in 2022 for robbery and numerous other offenses, according to the Pirkanmaa District Court. The Court of Appeal's decision states that even though the probationary period decided on October 31st of this year, the individual in question is still under probation. The man was questioned, however, the details of the interrogation were withheld for investigative purposes. There has long been a rise in the number of sexual offenses reported to the police, including the rape of young women. The fact that more occurrences are reported due to modern technologies can account for this increase. It is said that the suspect in the Valkeakauski case did not know his victim. Those close to the victim who are familiar with them are frequently the ones who commit acts of sexual assault. It is far less common to find cases where the offender is a total stranger. It is anticipated that discussion on the revised Alcohol Act will begin today, May 29. The bill increases the maximum alcohol level of fermented beverages, beer, cider, wine, etc., that can be sold in grocery shops to 8 degrees. However, mixed drink alcohol content stays at 5.5%. Alcohol lovers will have more options as a result, and they won't need to search for Alco's strong beers. Additionally, brewers think they may unleash market sales if the new regulation is implemented. The largest independent craft beer manufacturer in Northern Europe, Laitila, said that it will introduce Koko Tuma, an 8.5% light beer that is currently available at Alco, to grocery shops as an 8% seasonal beverage this spring. Other strong beers, including the 6.5% English-style Rooster Strong Bitter, will also be sold in stores. Additionally, producer Cinnabrihoff declared, "This is hardly a drastic alteration. Most customers still like their beer to have a 4-5% ABV." Following the enactment of the legislative modification, the factory initially, the beer will include stronger options from Alco, like the 7.2% Cough Porter and Stallion, 6% Brooklyn Pulp Art Hazy IPA, and 8% Karhu. Hialvi Brewery's marketing manager, Antti Eriksinen, is happy that the new law would provide grocery patrons additional options. Finns love their beer very much. As distribution networks grow, the legislative modification will allow consumers to choose from a wider variety of beers. Hartwall promises a few new retail products. Grocery stores get red, white, rosé, and sparkling wines with an alcohol percentage ranging from 5.5 to 8% because Hartwall also imports wine. Stronger iterations of Ora and Lapin Kulta will be added to the beer lineup by Hartwall. As public disapproval of Israel's activities in Gaza has increased, the topic of recognition of Palestine has come up more frequently. Finland continues to reject the existence of a Palestinian state. As of May 28, Norway, Ireland, and Spain have decided to recognize the State of Palestine. A similar choice was made by Sweden over 10 years ago. Over 140 nations have acknowledged Palestine in total. In an interview with Helsingin Sanomat over the weekend, former Green Party Foreign Minister Pekka Haavisto changed his mind and stated that he was in favor of the recognition of a Palestinian state. Mr. Haavisto claims that Palestine's legal position will be strengthened by recognition. President Alexander Stubb says Finland will eventually acknowledge the State of Palestine. During a state visit to Estonia on Monday, Mr. Stubb made the remarks. The Left Alliance is the opposition group that is most adamant on recognizing a state for Palestine. The president of the Left Alliance parliamentary group, Jussi Saramo, emphasized that the party has long held the position on recognition, and it is not a new policy. The Now movement's stance is also very clear. According to Harry Harkimo, Finland need to recognize Palestine. The Social Democratic Parliamentary Group chairman, Titi Tuppurainen, stated that the party's stance is that Palestine would eventually be acknowledged. However, if the foreign policy leadership of our country decides to recognize Palestine in this situation, we can hardly object. In a separate development, the Conservative Party, the party of the Prime Minister, feels that the moment is not right to acknowledge a state for Palestine. The parliamentary group's vice president, Pirkanmaa, claims that the current administration is in favor of the two-state concept and that an independent Palestinian state is a necessary component of it. Finland has long maintained this strategy. There must be a truce in the area for the Conservative Party to be likely to support recognition. That's the essential point. Humanitarian aid should be sent to the region, a negotiating mechanism should be approved, and all captives should be freed. Many aspects need to be ironed out before moving forward in order to be acknowledged. Having similar opinions to those of the Conservative Party, the Centre Party believes that the two-state concept is the only path to long-term peace, according to Antti Kurvinen. Still, it is too soon to acknowledge Palestine. Palestinians must have the right to their own state, he stated. A ceasefire and a constructive route to peace were also stressed by the Centre Party. Kurvinen stated that ultimately, we will have to acknowledge that there are still far too many unsolved questions. This is also the opinion held by the Swedish People's Party. The head of the parliamentary group, Otto Andersson, claims that recognition is not a question at the time. Furthermore, the Christian Democratic Party and the Finnish Party hold diametrically opposed positions. The head of the Finnish Party parliamentary group, Jani Mäkelä, believes that recognition is not appropriate at this time. No moves should be made while the conflict is ongoing and Hamas's terrorist attacks are still fresh in memory. The stance of the Christian Democratic Party toward Palestine recognition is unfavorable. The head of the parliamentary group, Peter Ostman, asserts that a negotiated peace deal with the State of Israel is a prerequisite for the recognition of a Palestinian state, particularly given the current circumstances. He thought that giving Palestine statehood would make the Middle East problem worse and obstruct the pursuit of peace. On Thursday, May 23, 2024, around 9:30 p.m., an apartment in Atunti, Oulu, caught fire. There are 10 units in the home overall. The building sustained significant damage from the fire, which also reached the attic. There were no fatalities from the fire. The damage and danger associated with a fire can increase dramatically at night. An increasingly dangerous arson crime situation led to the suspicion of a 62-year-old guy. The suspect cooperated with the authorities and was taken into custody at the scene in a composed manner. According to an early inquiry, the suspect ignited the fire with lighter fluid in the Oulu apartment complex that caught fire last week. The individual was by himself in his apartment when the fire started, according to the authorities. The reason behind it is still a mystery. Detective Chief Inspector Tero Lukonen, the Oulu Police's head of investigation, stated, "He told us that he had no intention of endangering others." Throughout July, Pietarsaari residents will be able to borrow an infinite number of Pietarsaari Energia-owned electric cars. Employees use these cars during the working week in the winter, primary and weekly days. People can also rent cars to use in the remaining time. City dwellers will have unlimited access to electric vehicles during the July holiday season. The cost of renting a car is €60 per day or €8 per hour. The average cost of a train ticket will increase by 60 cents due to VR train. The routes between Helsinki, Hyvinkää and Helsinki, Järvenpää, as well as groups like retirees and students, will not be affected by these modifications. The new rate will go into effect on June 3, 2024, at 9 a.m. The D, G, H, M, O, R, T, and Z series are all affected by the rise. An increase in production costs is the cause of the increase. Anu Punola, the Director of Commuter Affairs, reports that since 2019, the cost of electricity utilized for trains has gone up by 30%. The average rise is 60 cents. For instance, the cost of a ticket between Riihimäki and Lahti will go from €6.60 to €6.90, and the price between Helsinki and Riihimäki would increase from €11.10 to €11.50. The most recent price rise for VR train occurred in August 2023, when there was an average 50-cent increase in prices. A violent event happened on the sports field close to Munkkiniemi General School early on May 27, 2024. A non-student entered the school and doused the pupils with pepper spray while the students were setting for a sporting event. 5 kids were hit by the spray, according to the police. The guy also shocked one of the kids with a stun gun. This suspect is underage. Police made their way over to the suspect's parents. Victimized children were brought to the hospital to receive treatment. According to the police, nobody was gravely hurt. The event is being looked at by police as an assault, a pepper spray offense, and the possession of a hazardous instrument with a stun gun.